ஹலோ, வணக்கம். நான் உங்க பாட்டுக்காரன். எல்லாரும் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? நல்லா இருக்கீங்க நம்புறேன். சந்தோஷமா இருக்கீங்க நம்புறேன். உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச மியூசிக் உங்களை சந்தோஷமா வச்சிருக்கேன்னு நம்புறேன். அண்ட் இஃப் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் த்ரூ சம்திங், ஏதாவது உங்களை பயங்கரமா டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணுதுன்னா ரொம்ப அதை பத்தி யோசிக்காதீங்க, எல்லாம் சரியாயிடும். ஏன்னா சரியாகலன்னா அது வந்து முடிவுக்கு வரலன்னு அர்த்தம். ஸோ சீக்கிரமாவே த கிளவுட்ஸ் வில் பாஸ். இந்த எபிசோட் வந்து திஸ் இஸ் ஒரு ஸ்பெஷலான ஒரு இண்டிபெண்ட் ஆர்டிஸ்ட் நமக்கு கெஸ்ட்டாக வந்திருக்காங்க. இவங்களை வந்து லாஸ்ட் ஒரு 6 to 8 months நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறேன். அவங்களோட ஒர்க் பார்த்துட்ருக்கேன். அவங்களோட லாஸ்ட் ரிலீஸ் எப்படி ஆச்சு அண்ட் ஹவு இட் ரியலி வென்ட் குட்ன்னு நான் பார்த்துருக்கேன் கண்கூட. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி அவங்க பண்ண ஒர்க்குமே எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்துச்சு, ரொம்ப ஹானஸ்டாக இருந்துச்சு. யாரையும் ப்ளீஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்காக பண்ணாமல் அவங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச மியூசிக் அவங்க பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. நேற்று ஆக்சுவலாக சும்மா ஒரு மெயில் தட்டினேன், நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கீங்களா, ஒரு பாட்காஸ்ட் பேசலாமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. அண்ட் ஷீ ஜஸ்ட் செட் ஓகே லெட்ஸ் டூ அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. வெல்கம் டு மை ஷோ சஞ்சனா. How are you?
Hi Sudhir. I'm good. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. நீங்கள் இன்ட்ரோல you're a ஷாருக் ஃபேன் இல்லையா?
அப்படியெல்லாம் இல்ல, பிடிக்கும். ஷாருக் பிடிக்காம இல்ல, பிடிக்கும். பட் ஏன்
இல்ல இந்த டயலாக் இருக்கே, லைக் இந்த clouds will pass swiftly and if you're feeling sad don't worry, it's not the end.
மேபி நீங்க நம்ம பாட்காஸ்ட் இது வரைக்கும் கேட்கலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். என்னோட எல்லா பாட்காஸ்ட்லயும் அது வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இருக்கும். பிகாஸ் ஐ திங்க் பீப்புள் நவடேஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்டா இருக்காங்க. சம்திங் இஸ் பாதரிங் தம். அட் சம் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் எவ்ரிபடி நீட்ஸ் அ தெரப்பி. பட் தெரப்பி போற அளவுக்கு அஃபோர்ட் பண்றதுக்கு நிறைய பேர்ட்ட டைம் இல்ல, மணி இல்ல, எல்லாமே இருக்கு. மியூசிக் இஸ் சம்திங் தட் இஸ் கம்ஃபர்டிங் தம். அண்ட் சம்டைம்ஸ் அப்படி ஃபீல் பண்றவங்களுக்கு மியூசிக்கே ரொம்ப ஓவர்வெல்மிங்கா கூட இருக்கிறதுக்கான சான்சஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ நான் எல்லா பாட்காஸ்டையும் அப்படி சொல்லி ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது ஐ ஃபீல் ஓகே, ஐம் சேயிங் ஆஸ் அ ஃப்ரெண்ட். அவங்களுக்கு ஃப்ரெண்டு கூட இல்லாம இருக்கலாம், யாரும் பேசுறதுக்கு ஆள் இல்லாம இருக்கலாம். திஸ் மைட் கம்ஃபர்ட் தம்ன்ற ஒரு நப்பா செயல நான் அதை எல்லாத்திலயும் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
That's very sweet and very thoughtful of you.
Thank you சஞ்சனா. அண்ட் லிசனர்ஸ், சஞ்சனாவை பத்தி சொல்லணும்னா, சஞ்சனா தேவராஜன் இஸ் அன் இந்தியா ஆர்டிஸ்ட். அவங்க நம்ம ஊர் பொண்ணு தான், கோயம்புத்தூர். பட் ஷி காட் செட்டில்ட் இன் பாம்பே. சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து அவங்க பிறந்து வளர்ந்தது எல்லாமே பாம்பே. ஸோ அதனால அவங்க வந்து இப்போ அவங்களோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் EP ஆக்சுவலா இங்கிலீஷ். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு டாக் அபவுட் யூ, அதை பத்தி பேசணும் சஞ்சனா. அண்ட் இப்போ கொஞ்ச நாளா வந்து ஹிந்தியில சாங்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் ஹர் நெக்ஸ்ட் சிங்கிள் வந்து தமிழ் ஹிந்தி பைலிங்குவலா பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ சஞ்சனா கிட்ட சஞ்சனாவோட மியூசிக், சஞ்சனாவோட ஜர்னி பத்தி பேசலாம். ஸோ சஞ்சனா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இனிஷியலா உங்களோட மியூசிக் இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன் பத்தி சொல்லுங்க. வாட் இன்ஸ்பயர்ட் யூ டு become a musician?
I think that சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து எனக்கு ரொம்பவே பாட்டுனா ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் தான். I've been singing, I think I was 4, 5. That's when I started singing. And okay. When I was 6 years old, I started going for party class. And I learned Carnatic music for 6 years. Then age 12, I think I was age 12, mama. Age 12 I got introduced to a lot of global music also. That's when before that I was only listening to Bollywood songs or movie part. And Carnatic music, the classical practice panni every week you have to go. So okay. I was practicing Carnatic music. But when I got to know Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, so just teenage pop music.
Everybody.
Yeah. That was the peak of, I think, all these pop stars also. So when I was listening to all those kinds of music, I was like very inspired by the writing. Songwriting as an idea. You can write a story. Basically, it's like storytelling, but in music format. So I was very, very inspired by the whole aspect of writing a story that's so close to you, and it can also become a song. So சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து எனக்கு இங்கிலீஷ்னா ரொம்ப favorite dance subject. So I was like, okay, this is nothing but essay writing,
Mm-hmm.
but you write poetry,
Yeah.
like poems. So I started writing poems when I was like 13, which eventually turned out to be, the building blocks to writing music.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, I think, 13 when I wrote my first song.
Okay.
Yeah, I still remember. It's called Hope. So
You released that? Other release?
never, not at all. But so I think inspiration is just fellow artists.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple artists. My mother, because I think my whole family is also pretty musical. Everybody loves to listen to music and very appreciative of
Mm-hmm.
the art form. So I was inspired by almost everything around me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something within me which was very certain at a very young age that this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else that interests me more than this. And that 13-year-old, writing a song was quite pivotal, I felt, because it was very liberating. I never expected myself to create something, out of nothing, out of thin air, so to speak. So when I wrote that song, and I was also like, listening to more music, different kinds of music, and writing more music, I quickly realized, I want to do this. I want to be a musician.
So 13 you were firm that music dana.
I think 13 was when I was almost sure that this is what I want to. I was convinced.
Okay.
I was convinced
that you know this and you want to do this.
Yeah, and but you're 13 now. I just turned. Just went to 8th standard. 8th class learned it. Then 10th standard, I remember. I was convinced in 10th I don't want to write it. I was very convinced that what's the point of studying? That all got into my head. Although I was a topper, I mean, all my life I've been a topper, but I didn't want to study. So my family was like, then what has gone into her? Why is she acting like this? But then I told everybody that I don't want to study anymore. And then my mom was like, 10th you have to write. You have to write. So 10th and 12th I had to somehow write. But I remember 12th standard, like middle, like just started 12th, I was fully convinced that this is what I'm going to do. There is nothing else I'm going to do. I've chosen music. I will continue to do music. I had a full sit down with my family, where I had to tell them that I'm serious about this, and this is not a hobby. This is something beyond that, and this is not just a phase. Parents have this
இப்போ சும்மா பேசிட்டேன். I was thinking நீங்க பேசிட்டு இருக்கும்போது நான் 8th படிக்கும்போது I wanted to be cricketer. So I was in Punjab. I was thinking, okay, இங்கே நம்ம அகாடமி எல்லாம் சேர்ந்தலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு then ஒரு புக் ஃபேர் அப்போ I got a book, ஒரு ஆஸ்ட்ரோனாட்டோட ஒரு பயோகிராஃபி. He was key member who built the space station. I thought, okay, நம்ம NASA join பண்ணிடலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. But you had something 8th standard ல இருந்து firm-ஆ surprising. Yeah.
It is, and see, அப்படினா I'll not say that family is not supportive. அது மாதிரி நான் சொல்ல மாட்டேன், because it's not true. They are supportive. ஆனா அந்த journey, see, I feel that any person who has a creative journey, it is alone.
Yeah.
To an extent, there is although you'll have support, every challenge that you face, you will only have to face it at the end of the day. You will have people cheering you on, but you will not have people who are going to solve all the mystery for you, find all the clues for you, give you all the answers. Adamari, I don't think you should expect also. And then there's no fun also. If you get all the answers, then what's the fun of the journey? But it was quite challenging as a 16, 17-year-old to navigate a dream. People don't talk about this a lot. I feel people talk a lot about, I took up நான் CA படிச்சேன், நான் MBA பண்ணேன், எனக்கு actually அதெல்லாம் பண்ணண்டா, எனக்கு I don't know what I want to do in life, I don't know what my purpose is, but I know this is not my dream, but I'm working a job. இது நிறைய I've heard a lot of these stories, but
Mm-mm.
people empathize with these people. Oh, it's very sad that you don't know what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
I have a midlife crisis, or quarter life crisis. These are all very common things you hear,
Mm-mm.
but I feel people don't talk enough about. I know what I want to do, but I don't
But I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
I think that is really where the crux of the matter is. Like, I knew that this is my dream, and I knew that I want to be a musician,
Mm-mm.
and I'm writing music. How do I go about with this? There is no handbook.
Yeah.
If you want to be a CA, you exactly know what has to be done. ஒரு 10 புக் இருக்கு, எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்துன்னு வாங்கோ.
Yeah.
You just know your syllabus, you can go to, there are tuitions, tutorials, this, that, just attend the classes, study, appear for your exam, and that's about it. But there is no clear route
Mm-mm.
as to how you'll be a musician and how you're going to navigate, who are you going to talk to, how to produce music, how what is arrangement, what is mixing, what is like vocal production, what is these are all things that when you're at the job and you continuously keep doing a lot of trial and error, you figure out things for yourself.
Mm-mm.
Even
So
with
there is no written rule, right? For a
absolutely,
creative journey. Yeah. Everybody's
There is
journeys are
no-
different.
that's true, but certain things are there, like,
Mm-mm.
I mean, if there are 7 notes,
Yeah.
there's just 7 notes, or if this is the scale of the song, this is the scale of the song.
Mm-mm.
Unless you like change the your transport. And my point is, like, there's certain levels of right and wrong in everything.
Mm-mm.
And when you come from absolutely no idea, like, when you have no idea about how to produce, for example,
Yeah.
or what is a music producer's job, or how. And also, I was not someone who was very well versed with any instruments also.
Oh,
I was
I was
only-
about to ask you. Carnatic கத்துக்கிட்டீங்க, okay, இது வாசிக்க தெரியுமா அப்படின்னு.
Yeah. So I was exactly the point. Problem was also, while I was figuring out my first EP,
Mm-mm.
the biggest challenge was to explain my ideas
Mm.
to my producer, who I found in a very mystical way.
Okay.
But because he was like a multi-instrumentalist,
Mm-mm.
and I was just a vocalist.
Mm.
And all my compositions and everything that I had were all in my head,
Mm-mm.
and it was just my vocals that would convey the idea. So it was quite challenging to explain that this is what I want. I had a very strong understanding of what I wanted, but it was very difficult to communicate. So
Mhm.
I just think that over the years, having self-taught a lot of things, the internet, stuff like that, you get acquainted with words. You understand what you mean by you understand by tones and moods of certain songs, and how you want to communicate with your producer. That understanding comes after, like, doing multiple songs.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about your first album. And it was in 2020 that you put out.
Correct.
And how was it? Mood over. It has 4 songs, but 4 song mein you did it in English.
Correct.
And at that point of time, why English EP as your first album?
Actually, fun fact, I predominantly only wrote in English.
Okay.
So I started off always as an artist who wrote in English,
Mm-mm.
and it was not until 2019
Mhm.
that I wrote in any other language. So
Okay.
till 2019, I had only written in English.
Mm-mm.
So everything that I had written, composed,
Scratch everything.
எல்லாமே இங்கிலீஷ்ல தான் இருந்தது.
Mm-mm.
So வேற லாங்குவேஜ், I mean, I never thought only that I would ever write in
Also,
any other language.
your thought process also runs in English. Is that a reason?
100%.
Okay.
100%. I think you think in English and you write in English, but it was actually a very conscious decision that I took in 2019, that it's like I was actually having a conversation with myself,
Mm-mm.
that see, actually Indian done. You
Mm.
Tamil, like வீட்ல Tamil பேசுற.
Mm-mm.
School and everything was in Mumbai, which means that
Hindi.
Hindi, ஆமா,
Mm-mm.
ஹிந்திலயும் பேசுற. But suddenly when it comes to writing and all that, you cocoon yourself and you just feel comfortable only in English. Why so?
Mm-mm.
Because it's not true. You're actually very fluent in English, Hindi,
Mm-mm.
and you speak decent Tamil in a sense,
Mm-mm.
just for communication level.
Okay.
So Tamil is far fetched, but Hindi is almost, like a very comfortable language for you. But you are always, so cocooned.
Mm-mm.
And even family was also like, English la part, English la part ஏறின்னு இருக்கா, and that audience is very niche. So how, what is your strategy? That was a big question.
Mm-mm.
And I was very bored of these words: strategy, audience, target, your TG, marketing, this, that. I was like, listen, I am not. First of all, I've not cracked the code.
Mm-mm.
Okay, if anything. Second of all, the only thing I like to do is music because it gives me happiness.
Mm-mm.
Now, if you add all this pressure into that and marketing and then what and this and that, you're just spoiling that experience only for me. So I don't want to think about it.
Okay.
That was the thought, and I was in this very bedroom actually,
Mm-mm.
and I was like, for 5 minutes, just let's assume that there's nobody to judge you. Okay, there's nobody to tell you that this is grammatically wrong, that is, sonically wrong, this, that. It's just you with your book, your paper, and you emote yourself in, say, any language, whatever you want. I was literally staring outside the window and I started writing certain words in Hindi.
Mm-mm.
It was like almost like I was letting myself be. Although it started off as an exercise to just let myself be, I realized that I ended up with a song.
Okay.
I ended up with a full-fledged song that I hope to and plan to put out someday, very
Mhm.
soon. And I was like, you know what? It might not be the most intelligent lyric, okay? And
But
it
it's
might not,
personal.
but it's personal, it's
Yeah.
honest. And I have always told myself that with my music, at least, like everything else in life is anyway a facade.
Mm-mm.
Okay, the least I can do and the most I will do is to make sure that me and my music continue to stay pure and honest for as long as I can keep it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of polluting that?
Mm.
If I take away that from my life, Sudhir, then everything else is just like, the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the difference? And I'm really, really protective of that space. I'm
Mhm.
very, very protective of like my relationship with my music.
Mm.
So, and that's been very clear to everybody in my life. I've maintained that. See, ellame okay, I'm ready to do anything fun, time pass, this, that. But when it comes to my music, I'm gonna keep that space and that relationship really pure. And not let everything be driven by, oh, what do these people think, what does the numbers say, what was the last release like, and who's liking what's working for someone. Because honestly, I feel that, because I also work with a label,
Yeah.
I've begun to realize that the more you do it for the wrong reasons, the farther you're away and going away and away from your music.
புரியுது.
At some point you'll have to choose.
Mm-mm.
I don't know whether the numbers will talk, and if you make peace with it, yeah, like it's okay.
Mm-mm.
At least you connect. At
Yeah.
least you connect to your song. Then you think about who else will connect. If you only start, oh, I will write in this language and I will write in this tempo and this key because this is happy key, and I will use these this chord progression because this works for that XXX person. Okay, so this is perfect. Oh, I will create a song now with all these rules. I can assure you that this will be a flop.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not the approach, at least for me,
Uh,
my music.
okay, but the first album, Mood, who push you to pursue that? Like, is what it was you pushing yourself, or you had supporting friends or family who said, "Okay, go ahead and do this"?
It was just me actually.
Mm-hmm.
As in, my friends and everybody knew that music was a big part of, me and my journey. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, like I told you earlier, also, the journey is a little alone. It is,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it need not be in a sad way. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying it. It was. It was like that for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really struggled to find the right
Mm-hmm.
people to make the song, and I had to push myself really, really hard to get get that piece of work out into the world. And regardless of what the mix sounds like today, I think that is one piece of work that I'm to this date really, really proud of, because of the journey that it's had more than anything. I think, yeah, I mean, I really like the writing of that
Mm-hmm.
album. I mean, I don't think I would change the writing much at all. Even after what 3-4 years of I wrote it like 3-4 years back. I still think I might not change a lot of the writing. 100% I would change a fair bit of the production and definitely change the mix. But there's something so pure about the writing of that particular album to me. Uh, it just takes me back, it takes me back to that very moment, why I wrote it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
what I was going through, and how it all came together. And I was very sure from the very beginning that the first piece of music that I put out
Mm-hmm.
uh, should not be like one single piece of, you know, music and
Got
then
it.
nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I want to show a body of work. I want to show what I'm capable of, because I have so many songs. At
Mm-hmm.
least at least let me put out four.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like I just start with. Generally, people have a completely different approach. People
Mm-hmm.
generally start with singles,
Yeah.
and then they see how it goes. I was like, you know what? You're here to make a statement. Go make a statement. As in to myself only.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, you've written all these songs. You want like a full EP. You wanted that feeling of an album type. You wanted that larger than life feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well go for all four songs. And then that whole vision came together. I was like, oh my god, each song is a color, and like the album art will also have 4 colors. And I'm so moody, so the album will be called Mood. There's that. It was a movie in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one. So I was the only one supremely excited and stressed about it. And I think after it came out, also I was the only one listening. So,
பட் எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்த விஷயம் ஒன்று சஞ்சனா, about the song, the first album. I really like the lyric videos that you put out. Uh,
thank you.
ஏன்னா it was it's not a very pro kind of a lyric video. It's simple. It's done with whatever resource that you had, whatever you know. அது ரொம்ப பர்சனலா இருந்துச்சு, பிகாஸ் நாட் எவ்ரி ஆர்டிஸ்ட் டேக்ஸ் தட் ஸ்ட்ராங் டெசிஷன் ஆஃப் கீப்பிங் இட் தட் வே. எல்லாருக்குமே வந்து ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரியான ஒரு லிரிக் வீடியோ பண்ணணும், பயங்கரமான ஒரு ப்ரொடக்ஷன் காட்டிடணும், இல்லை மியூசிக் வீடியோ பண்றோன்னா ஒரு பெரிய செலவு பண்ணிடணும் அப்படின்னு தான் இருக்கு. பட் the first time when I started following you and your work, I just went back and said, I saw Mood, அதோட லிரிக் வீடியோ, and your YouTube channel. It's very surprising. You still have your old videos, the covers and everything.
Yeah,
ஏன்னா
yeah.
so after releasing 1 or 2 songs, people tend to think, okay, நம்ம பழைய வீடியோஸ்லாம் பிரைவேட் பண்ணிடலாம், வேணாம், இது யாருக்கும் தெரிய வேணாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. But you consciously kept that. It's a very good
Yeah.
sign.
It's a journey, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I turn back, Ashingama and Dalu, you can always see it and be like, oh, there's some progress. You can feel happy. You look back and like, எப்படியோ பாடிட்டு இருக்கா, ஆனா இப்போ கொஞ்சம் பெட்டரா பாடுறா. Or you can just look at yourself and you're like, okay, you look like a baby. Now you've grown up also. So it's a part of the journey. Not that See, I'm not saying that you, you don't have to be proud of the work that you put out 4 years back,
Mm-hmm.
but you can always be proud of the journey that you've had in those 4 years.
Valid.
So yeah, so I that is the reason I think all of my videos are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I am that only, yeah. Like that
Yeah.
same girl has only evolved to be something else today, but tomorrow I'll evolve further and be something else. That does not mean that I'll go and be like, Sudhir, in the podcast delete pannidungo. Please. I spoke like shit.
Okay. So, tell me about your song in the film, The Last Victim. You got
Oh,
sing
that.
praised, right? I'll see you again. And the track pati solunga.
Crazy. One of the craziest things that happened to me and my musical career. I was working with the same producer who did Mood, my first EP for
Yeah.
me,
Mm-hmm.
and we were working, and I got a call from the director right now, the director of the film, and I was, and actually the thing is, the story goes way back. So first was actually just a casual, like, meeting a friend of my father's at some, party, and he was like, oh, father was like, yeah, she's doing some singing, and she's singing this that kuch kar rahi hai. I'm like, singing क्यों बोल दिया यार, मैं तो गाने भी लिख रही हूँ, मतलब I was very like, I'm not a singer alone. I do
Yeah.
more. So I was like, yeah, and I took over that conversation a little bit, and I was like, yeah, uncle, I write my own songs and all also, essay. So he was like, oh, wonderful. I know a friend of mine. I mean, this uncle is saying that I know a friend of mine who's like, making a movie and yada yada. I will definitely put your name, and I'll just send links of your songs. You send it to me, this, that. I said, oh, wonderful, okay. இதெல்லாம் very common actually.
Yeah.
இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப
ஃபார்மாலிட்டிக்கு சொல்லிட்டு போறாங்க.
ஆமா, இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப it just keeps happening that someone will say, oh, very nice, சரி, okay, links எல்லாம் send, okay பா, congratulations, all the best, அதெல்லாம் it's very very common. So அது மாதிரி I thought, சரி, okay, யாரோ வந்து என்னோ பேசிட்டு போயிருக்கா, it doesn't account to anything, doesn't mean anything. But I said, you know what, they asked for links, I will send links. Okay, yeah. I send the links, nothing. I have not heard from them, nothing. It was just back to life, normal life is happening. I'm finishing call at this, that. So one day I get a call some 1-2 months later that, hey, this is Naveen, and the director of the film. He's like, I got your reference through this and this. I heard some of your stuff, crazy stuff, good stuff. Like, would you be interested to like write a song? Like,
Okay.
Yeah, like, okay, yes, but what is happening? So I said, okay, yeah, sure. And then I go to my producer, and I told him that like this, I got a call, and we have to now do something. So he's like, you have to do something. What you're looking at me? So I said, alone, what I need your support in the sense that I'll do everything, but you'll have to produce the song for me. So he said, okay, first to get the brief and all that. Director sent the full script.
Okay.
I was like, the script I have to read full. Oh shit. So I read the script and all, and then he's like, okay, we have I'll call you for a sitting. We'll give you a breakdown, and there will be a reading. This, that.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, shit, okay. You need to understand, I'm a college kid who is just thinking something is happening. Like, I have not understood the magnitude of anything. I'm like, okay, something. He's saying reading, this, that. He said, go read the script and all. I'm reading the script. It's very funny. I'm like, what is this? Then he sent references. Referencing is a big part of filmmaking, actually. Like, people don't talk about it, but referencing is like. So I was like, okay, references, okay, wow, big words, fun, what is all this, God knows. And then he just said, okay, I think I've given you enough information, now you make.
Okay.
And that was one of the first times in my life that I was making music on demand, which is a very important learning.
Yeah.
So they just said it's basically the film is about Middle America, and Central America, and it's very like cowboys and crude language and just Native Americans being very brash, and killings are a common phenomenon where that's the whole idea of the film, very very rodeo. So I was like, okay, I understand, and the premise is also very heavy. So I told my producer, we need a very rodeo kind of a sound.
Okay.
So you create some beats, some 4-5 chords. Like we were just playing around with some chords. I played some chords. I was like, these chords sound fine. Now you just like play around with this. And he just played around, and he just sent me like one demo, like instrumental to work with. And I was like, okay, now I'll write on this. And I started writing. I was just like, okay, Kadesh is water, and they'll shoot the stars, and I will see this, that, I just went. I was like, I fully embraced that whole story, and I was like, I was thinking like I'm the protagonist of the story, and I just wrote everything. And I've written, and then I sent the scratch, one verse, one chorus, and the drop. Whatever we worked together, we sent it to that director, and we were like so unsure about it. We were like, what we have sent, God only knows. Something we have sent. And I was just like taking it in a very light spirited way, saying that what, first time ever you have written something on demand. It's okay, every day is not going to be a Sunday. It's okay. I'm already consoling myself. Verdict is there is no verdict yet, but I'm already consoling myself. I'm like, it's okay. Next time we'll do better. Okay. 1 week, no answer, nothing. I said, over. That's it. There's nothing here. Just go carry on with your life and be a better person and musician now. All that. I was there. 2 weeks in, the director calls me. He's like, sorry, if, took some time to get back to that. We love it. The producers love it. When is the full song coming in? I was like, what? So that was a crazy. And then we sat and we finished the song. And it took a lot of time actually to come out, because I had written it. It's almost like a pre-COVID project which went through COVID also almost. Yeah. So I mean, there were changes throughout the song. It grows, and we rework the song, but it was a crazy journey, and it was out.
Okay. Also, I just want to understand the thought process behind Leher, because I find that song is something exotic.
Wow. I think if you ask me, in my Hindi songs that I've written, like all the Hindi songs that I've written till today, if you had to ask me one of the most the songs that I would go back to, or probably I would again go listen to, would be Leher, because the thought process behind it and the feeling that I still have when I think about it is one of the most purest feelings that I've ever felt.
Okay.
It's very weird to say this. That song has defeat in it. If you want, there is defeat in the song, but that is the success of the song. I don't know how to explain this, but in simple words, the lyric says that let it go like waves. Just let it go. The song is about letting go.
Yeah.
And I wrote it also at some point where I think that I was trying too many things out of my musical career. I was like, everything is slow. I'm not making progress. Things are not moving as fast as I would like them to. I'm not where I think I should be. I'm not achieved enough. It allowed me, just negative, feelings that were pulling me down. And I just said, just let it go. I was actually in a very weird way accepting defeat. I was making peace with my journey in a way. And I think later I realized that is what was success. because I was not fighting anything anymore. I was not angry with myself. I was not trying to, make sense out of every action, be productive, this, that. I was just like, Chuma, why it comes back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Why you're writing music?
For happiness.
Why you're singing? When you're on the keyboard and you're just playing those chords, what are you feeling? And you become human. See, sometimes in this, because of social media, not just social media, but the chaos of it all, that people have crazy trajectories, people are just super popular right now and things are magically happening for them, and all this pressure, suddenly you think that you're also superhuman, okay, and you also think that everything will just happen like that. But then it's very important to kind of remind yourself that it might not happen also. Okay, just because it happened for someone, it need not happen for you. But is that the reason you're doing music? Like, you want to become famous, is that why you're doing it? Or why you're doing it then? You have to ask yourself some really hard, honest questions to kind of ground you and bring you back on track. So I did that. Leher was that for me.
Okay.
I'm really very happy that I put out that song in that fashion, as in the production is simple. I put it out in a very honest fashion where I didn't make it a lot about what more I can do with the song or where I can take it vocally, what can I do. I think I was supremely honest with the approach, and I just left it to that, and I think that's what's so special about Leher for me.
Okay, so Leher da I just wanted to பேசணும்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன் because I saw the journey of Q, like pre-save இருக்கட்டும், release இருக்கட்டும், and everything. I was like, okay, என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா, அப்பதான் எனக்கு I got to know you, but the way the song unfolded was it was really beautiful, and the small I saw a video of your friends celebrating the release of the song. It was very sweet, very sweet. And Q thought process என்னவா இருந்துச்சு?
So Q, I think was something that was actually very, very random. It was my first attempt even as a producer, so to speak.
So that's the first song that you produced.
Correct. And the idea of that beginning so all that ideas actually came about, and I was like, let me just experiment with the sound. And I had never experimented with music before. I feel it was very plain simple, you come up with melodies and you come up with words, and then you just put it together, and there you have a song. But this was the first time I had actually explored certain sides, like certain aspects of music that I had not ventured out before, like I had not done before. And Q was the first song which I did not focus much on the lyrics. It was a music and sound driven song for me, and I focused on getting that sound right, and lyrics just fit into it. Like it was secondary to me.
Okay. Okay. Then your upcoming song, Nee Vena Nee Poda, I want to talk about that, because the first time நீங்க அந்த pre-save போட்டிருந்தோன்னே I thought, oh, it's going to be a full Tamil song. Then இப்ப பேசும்போது that you are telling me that it's a bilingual song, so it has Hindi and Tamil, and thought process behind that song.
So this song, as the name suggests, it's like I don't want you, I don't want you, and the song actually came from a moment where I realized that I was giving a little too much into a relationship that probably did not have a future.
Okay.
As in, sometimes we get caught up, we just get caught up in our own ideas of what something can turn into, and you get really involved in it, and you start giving everything into it, and I was there. I was in that situation, and I just kind of realized that it's causing me a lot of pain because everything that you say, I believe the words that you say, but suddenly, like, you know, your actions don't kind of fall in sync with your words. Yeah, and I am at the very end of it all, trying to make sense of your actions and your words, and it just leaves me with a very, you know, empty and quite unpleasant taste, so to speak, you know. And I was like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. So I don't want to feel this. I don't want to listen to your explanation. I don't want you to, you know, give me all this reasoning. See, nee reasoning kotta naan agree panna poren. I know this because if I start listening to your reasons and if you start telling me what happened, I know me, because I'm in, you know, I'm in that situation, or like, you know, I have feelings for you. I will just listen to you, and I will tell myself, okay, it makes sense, admari. But I was at that point where I was like, I don't want to listen only to your reasoning, okay, and I don't want you to come back giving any explanation. I don't want to know where, what, why. I just know that I don't want you, period. Okay. And I have already taken that decision. So now don't come here to pollute my mind or give me any reasoning, because that decision has been made. Thank you. Bye.
So that's the thought process. Okay. So by the time the listeners கேட்டிருக்கும் போது, ஸோ அந்த சாங் ரிலீஸ் ஆயிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ ஐ திங்க் யூ கைஸ் கோ செக் இட் அவுட். சஞ்சனா தேவராஜன்ஸ் ரீசன்ட் சிங்கிள் நீ வேணா நீ போடா.
ஆமா, நீ போடா.
Also please சஞ்சனாவோட previous songs கேளுங்க. Yeah, sorry to break you on.
இல்ல, sorry. I was just thinking, if I said that I told I don't want you, but you know, even in that நீ வேணா நீ போடா அப்படி, you know, when we say that also, somewhere there is some pain, you know, that like you're hoping, you wish that it worked out only. You're never going to be like, oh, I never want this to work out, get lost. Admari illa. It's always like wishful thinking that it would have been nice if it would have worked out, but right now, actually, I don't want you. So it's a very complex feeling in that sense, but also very simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sanjana, thank you so much for joining me today. You were so kind. உடனே பண்ணலாம்னு சொல்லி பாட்காஸ்ட்க்கு வந்ததுக்கு ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ். இட் வாஸ் இன்சைட்ஃபுல் டாக்கிங் டு யூ. உங்களோட மியூசிக் விஷன் அண்ட் எவ்ரிதிங். ஆல் தி பெஸ்ட்.
Thank you so much, Sudhir, and I had so much fun talking to you. And when you reached out, I was really excited because you know, it's always fun to kind of connect with music lovers and people who work so closely with behind the song also. So I was very excited to come on today and talk to you, and I think I had a really, really good time. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Sanjana. And நீங்கெல்லாம் இந்த எபிசோட் கேட்டு உங்களுக்கு சஞ்சனாவை பத்தி தெரியலன்னா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நீங்க போய் சஞ்சனாவோட சாங்ஸ் கேளுங்க. I think you should listen to her. Okay. Thank you so much. கூடிய சீக்கிரமே நான் இன்னொரு ஷோல உங்களை நான் சந்திக்கிறேன். அது வரைக்கும் உங்களிடம் இருந்து விடைபெறுவது உங்கள் பாட்டுக்காரன்.